I didn't stop overeating with willpower. I stopped overeating when I realized that I was living someone else's life. I overate mostly at nighttime, and I did this for a decade. And I didn't fully understand why, but looking back now, I realized that one of the reasons was this. I was basically living a life that people expected of me, and I let them determine what my life would look like. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. I didn't fully feel comfortable putting myself first. And it's still a work in progress, by the way. When I was 20 years old, I did my first proper thing for myself. And I left my boyfriend, who I was with for 7 years. After 6 months, I knew this relationship wasn't right for me, but I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to let my family down because they loved him. So I stayed with him for 7 years. Leaving him felt like rebellion. It was my first real act for myself. And then a few weeks later, I noticed that I lost weight. And it's not because I tried or because I was on a diet or anything, it just happened. And then I started to make the link. I realized that when I chose myself, I didn't need to use food as a coping mechanism as much. And then about a year later, something stressful happened again. I was buying a house. I was in a job I didn't like. I was very stressed, and I started overeating again. And that's when I found the second link. So the first link was living for other people, and the second was that I didn't know how to self-soothe. The only way I knew how was to eat or to overeat. Food was the only way I knew how to calm my nervous system. Whether I was irritated, overwhelmed, stressed, exhausted, fatigued, I went for food. And it wasn't about hunger, it was about relief. So I had to learn how to pause, and that pause was really powerful. So before eating, I'd ask myself, am I actually hungry here? Or is there something else going on? Am I truly hungry? Most of the time, the answer was no. I'd feel that my stomach felt full, I was satiated, but I'd never actually tuned in to my body before to recognize that. And then I'd ask, okay, then what do I actually need right now? And most of the time it was irritability or frustration or just exhaustion. So I started slow. Let's say I was irritable. I'd say, okay, let me take myself for a 15-minute walk. And that was enough to interrupt the pattern of no return. Now, it didn't always work. Sometimes I still ate everything in sight, but sometimes it did, and sometimes is enough to build momentum. Then I built what I call a self-soothing menu. I found what I enjoyed and what calmed my nervous system, and I wrote them down on a piece of paper. So when I had these urges, I'd look to my piece of paper and say, okay, is one of these what I need right now? And that included breath work, yoga, journaling, walking, basically different tools for different emotions. And over time, they started to work more and more. And another thing that helped me was changing what I was eating. So instead of going for the ultra-processed snacks, I'd go for whole foods. And I noticed that when I went for whole foods, I overate less because whole foods don't have that addictive edge. If I overate on, let's say, apple slices and peanut butter, I didn't get that urge to keep going like I did when I had chocolate or crisps. So in short, for me, stopping overeating wasn't about restrictive diets. They don't work, they backfire. It was about living a life for me. It was about learning how to deal with uncomfortable emotions in healthier ways. And it was about reducing processed foods and having healthy snacks in the house. And you'll find my favorite go-tos in the comment section. What also helped was understanding that this wasn't going to go overnight, okay? This was a process. This is something I had learned for years. So it was going to take time for me to overcome it. And there were slip-ups, right? There were phases where it got worse before it got better. It's not a straight line. It's more like an upwards slope with lots of dips in it. Quick fixes never work, but patience does. And if you're in this right now, just know it can get better. You just don't have the right tools yet. Now, if you're ready to take the next step to overcome emotional or stress eating, I do have an online course that goes through it step by step. And I'll leave the link in the comment section for you. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like so that other people can find it. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. I'm here to help. And I'll see you next Thursday.